can start one way, but it's how you finish that counts. Hey everybody, welcome to After Action Report, your recap show for all 29 matches to keep you caught up on all the action. I'm your host Megs here for the Call to Action podcast channel, here bringing you all the stats from the matches from this week. Now, while we only had one match this week, it did get me thinking and prompted me to look into times when a competitor struggled in that final round, but hit the one question that counted. Without further ado, let's jump into our one match we saw. Klee, Sweet T Wiggins facing off against Brother Lomas. Coming out of round one, Lomas is up by 8-4. In round two, Lomas decides to spin first, spins away from Black Cinema, takes the wild card category, and it's the brand new category of belated sequels. Lomas comes away with 7 out of 10 points, checks down to multiple choice on 2 questions, misses one of them, but it is not stolen. Klee decides to take Black Cinema on her first spin. She comes away with 6 out of 10 points, checking down to multiple choice on 1 question, misses that question and an additional question, but neither one is stolen. So this does give Lomas an overall gain of 1 to where he is now up by 5 points, 15-10. In round 3, Klee hits her 2-pointer in Sly and Arnie, a 3-pointer in Gene Hackman, which ties them at 15, sending it back over to Lomas, who misses a 2-pointer in Crime and his 3-pointer in Horror. We're still tied, so we now go back over to Klee for a 5-pointer in Tom Cruise, which she misses. This leaves Lomas with a 5-pointer in Musicians in Film to either win the match or send them into sudden death. And he hits it, giving him the win with a final score of 20-15. Where Klee Wiggins answered 9 of 19 questions for 47% accuracy and scored 47% of 32 available points. Brother Lomas answered 13 of 20 questions for 65% accuracy and scored 59% of 34 available points. So there were definitely some tough misses by both competitors and some surprising misses as well, but it got me thinking about other competitors in the league, specifically in the singles division is what I looked at, where a competitor had to come back from missing their 2 and their 3 in the final round to be able to hit their 5 to win the match. Other examples of this have been in the tournament final of season 3, Ellis was able to defeat Roca by hitting a 5 in spite of missing his 2 and his 3. In Roca against Merle in a title match in season 4, Roca was able to win the title by hitting his 5-pointer. Clark versus Mark Andraco in a tournament semifinal in season 5. Clark was able to come away with the victory there. In season 8, Claudia Dolph and Christy V faced off, and Claudia Dolph was able to come back and win on a 5-pointer. And then just this last week, we saw Glory Jean take the victory over Chandra Dandapani by hitting her 5 after also missing her 2 and her 3. So this was just an interesting look back down memory lane to think about competitors who, while they struggled there maybe at the beginning of that final round, they were able to pull it together to answer that tough question, that 5-pointer, in order to come out with a victory. And especially when you're talking about those title matches, you've already gone through 4 other rounds. Now you're on that final precipice of, are you going to be able to defend or gain that title? And being able to win on a 5-point question is always an amazing thing to see. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. But don't worry, I'm going to be right back here next week breaking down next week's matches. And we're going to get some fun next week because we're getting Rick the Rager Radis up against the Boston Badass herself, Paige for Betty. 2 sophomore players coming off of a loss earlier in the season that are going to try and look for that one last win here before we get to Spectacular. So be sure to tune in for that. If you haven't already, make sure you hit like on this video, you're subscribed to the channel, and leave comments with your thoughts on the episode. The match breakdowns presented here will be posted on Twitter and Facebook. Until next time, for the entire Call to Action podcast crew, I'm your host, Megs, and this is After Action Report, signing off.